Hello, it's me, the ukulele teacher, and Back to the Future week continues. So please be sure to check out my Back to the Future playlist if you haven't already, and be sure to let me know if you have any suggestions for Back to the Future themed videos and lessons that I can do right now in the comments. Also, if you haven't already, please be sure to check out my Uke to the Future t-shirt, available exclusively right now from ukuleletees.com. Today, we're going to be learning how to play Mr. Sandman. Wait a second, I said Mr. Sandman. It's a beautiful old school song, so I'm going to go ahead and play you through a quick intro and verse of it first to give you guys a rough idea of how it'll sound when you've learned it. If you'd like a song sheet so you can follow along, sign up today to patreon.com/uketeacher. You get a free PDF song sheet with every single lesson. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream, make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him two lips like roses and clover, then tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone, don't have nobody to call my own. So please turn on your magic beam, Mr. Sandman. Now this song is the opposite of a lot of songs that I teach you, where the riff is the hard part and the chords are the easy part. This time around, the riff is super duper easy and it's the chords that are the challenge. So let's start off by learning the riff, and then if you want to skip ahead to where I teach you the chords, you can do that now. To play the riff, you're basically finger picking around two chords, C major 7 and D minor 6. Now the secret to making fingerpicking easy and smooth is to get the fingers in your right hand in the right place before you even start. So to that end, you want to put your thumb above the 4th string and your 1st, 2nd and 3rd fingers underneath the 3rd, 2nd and 1st strings, like this. 4, 3, 2, 1. So play the chord of C major 7, which is just putting your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, and without even moving your right hand at all, play the strings 3, 2, 4, 1. Then lift up the finger on your left hand and just play that backwards. 1, 4, 3, 2. So let's play that C major 7 pattern again. It strings 3, 2, 4, 1. Then lift up the finger. 1, 4, 3, 2. Then just move to the chord of D minor. Put your 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. And then this time add your 4th finger to the 3rd fret of the 1st string. And just start playing the exact same pattern again with your right hand. Strings 3, 2, 4, 1. Then slide down your 4th finger to the 2nd fret of the 1st string and just strum the whole chord. And that's how to play your riff. So let's play it through nice and slowly. C major 7, 3, 2, 4, 1. Then open that 1st string, 1, 4, 3, 2. Then go to D minor with the 4th finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string, 3, 2, 4, 1, strum. And let's put the whole thing together nice and slow. And there you can see, even though the riff sounds pretty complicated, you're basically just playing two easy chords with your left hand, and your right hand is hardly moving at all because you've got the fingers already in the right place. So the riff is nice and straightforward. And that's just as well because we play it for the intro of the song. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's carry on now and learn the rest of the song. Before we go any further though, I just want to say a massive thank you to Ortega Guitars for sending me this beautiful ukulele with which to play, and for sponsoring this video. If you'd like to find out more about this ukulele or about Ortega Guitars, then check out the link in the video description below. So as I said, normally it's the riff that's the challenging part of the song and the chords that are the easy part, but in this song, the reverse is true, because the riff is very, very straightforward and we've just learned it very quickly, But there are about 12 chords, I think, to learn for this song. So let's go ahead and just learn it line by line. I think that'll be easier. The first line, the chords are C major 7, which we've already learned, to B7. Now to play the chord of B7, you bar the 2nd fret with your 1st finger, then you add your 2nd finger to the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, and the chord of B7 should sound like this. Now the strumming pattern that I play throughout the song is a nice and jaunty down, down, up, down, up, down, up, twice on each chord, like this. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up. So for the first line it should sound like this. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Then the second line, the chords are E7 to A7 augmented. Now to play the chord of E7, put your 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 4th string, your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and your 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. The chord of E7 should sound like this. And to play the chord of A7 augmented, put your 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, and your 2nd finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and A7 augmented should sound like this. Again, just play that down, down, up, down, up, down, up pattern twice on each of those chords, like this. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Then the next line, the chords are D6 to G7. Now D6 is just a bar on the 2nd fret of the ukulele. Now a bar means you push down on all 4 strings at the same time. If you need a bit of extra help with bar chords because they're not as difficult as they might seem at first, then check out my video on how to play bar chords. It'll give you a couple of extra handy hints and tips to make the whole thing seem a bit less frightening, and then you can come back and finish learning this song. And the chord of D6, which is just a bar along the 2nd fret of the ukulele, should sound like this. And to play the chord of G7, put your 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and your 3rd finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. And the chord of G7 should sound like this. So that 3rd line, D6 to G7, will sound like this. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up. Then the things start to change just a little bit. The chords go from C, which is your 3rd finger on the 1st fret of the 3rd string, to G sharp 7 to G7. Now here we play the down, down, up, down, up, down, up pattern twice on the C, like usual. Then once on G sharp 7 and once on G7. Now there are 2 ways to play the chord of G sharp 7, but to be honest with you, I sort of cheat and play it the lazy way by playing the chord of G7 and I just slide the whole thing up 1 fret. And instead of playing anything on the 4th string, I just push this 2nd finger over just a little bit, so it just sort of mutes that 4th string so you don't get any note at all. If you want to play it the correct way, you can put your 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 4th string and then make the shape like this of the G sharp 7. But personally, I find it easier to just slide that G7 shape up and push the finger across so it just blocks the 4th string. Then you slide it down for the G7. So the 4th line, you play the down, down, up, down, up, down, up pattern twice on the C, then once on G sharp 7 and once on G7, like this. 1, 2, 1, 1. And that's the first half of the verse, so let's put it together and see how it sounds. 1, 2, 3. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream, make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him 2 lips like roses and clover, then tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Then the second half of the verse starts with the same first 2 lines as the first half of the verse, with a C major 7 to B7, followed by the E7 to A7 augmented, like this. Sandman, I'm so alone, don't have nobody to call my own. Then for the penultimate line, we go to the chord of D minor 7. Now we already learned the chord in the intro. Then you play the chord of F minor. To play the chord of F minor, put your 1st finger on the 1st fret of the 4th string, your 2nd finger on the 1st fret of the 2nd string, and your 4th finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. And the chord of F minor should sound like this. So that penultimate line will sound, please turn on your magic beam, Mr. And then the 4th line, the chords are C, D7, G7 to C. Now we know the chords of C and G7, but to play the chord of D7, get that bar back across the 2nd fret of the ukulele, and then put your 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the 1st string. And the chord of D7 should sound like this. And for that last line, I generally just play 1 downstroke on each chord, like this. Mr. Sandman, give me a So let's go ahead and try and put through the whole verse all together from the top. Nice and slow from the beginning, all together. 1, 2, 3. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Give him 2 lips like roses in clover. Then tell him that his lonesome nights are over. Sandman, I'm so alone. Don't have nobody to call my own. Please turn on your magic beam. Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. And basically, you just repeat the intro again twice, and then every riff subsequently has the same chord sequence as verse 1. So put that all together, and that's how to play Mr. Sandman, originally by the Chordettes, from the hit movie Back to the Future. Again, don't forget it's Uke to the Future week, so if you have any Back to the Future based requests or ideas for videos and lessons that I can do, then let me know right now in the comments. Otherwise, until next time, I love you all, and I wish you the best.